Fellas, how's it going? Today's currently a Thursday. We're gonna be hitting some back and tries, getting right at it, entering week 4 here of the cut, so that we're making progress on this cut. I'm not gonna lie, I just recently cut some food out of my diet, because we're locked down to quite a good diet right now, but I eliminated just some extra calories and stuff, that were just enough to help me come down from 192, because I'm at 182 right now, so enough to lose 10 pounds. But if I want to lose this next few more pounds, I gotta make sacrifices. So I've cut 600 calories out and replaced them with a few other things. So my Nature Valley grain bars, I cut all 3 of those out and just added 1 protein Nature Valley. So now we're eating 3 of those a day, along with a protein bar and the protein yogurt right off the bat. Still eating our lunch meat, fruit, and then unfortunately, but fortunately, see it either way, I guess. For dinner, we kind of freelance. I kind of keep an eyeball on what I'm eating, but at the same time, I make sure it's some chicken, some rice. As long, I don't care what the main course is, as long as it's beef or chicken. But when it comes to the side, we haven't been messing around. It's been straight white rice, But either way, you come to enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of weird at first. It sucks because you just ate it for 2 weeks straight, but then eventually it just it starts to become good, if that makes sense. But either way, we're going good and along. But today we got some back and tries. I'm not gonna lie, energy's definitely low, but at the same time, hopes are high. Morale's high. Everything else is high except for my energy. But that is what it is. I'm not gonna lie. Once I take the pre-worky, I'll be zapped right into that. I just get into these little funks throughout the day, and it's from being deficient on calories and carbs and all that. Not all of it, but at least calories. Carbs I try and keep up still a little bit, but hey, sometimes you gotta sacrifice, like I said. But either way, fellas, I catch you guys at the gym for some pre-work talks. Alrighty, fellas, so we just got here at the gym. Just finished my fruit as well. So we got a little bit of everything in us today. At least I got my food in me. I'm not even gonna lie, it's crazy, the difference between the bulk and the cut. The cut, I've been fiending for food. Literally, I'd be driving by places that I would go to when I was on the bulk, and it's oh man, it doesn't really hurt if I stopped once. You know what I mean? But either way, been staying solid, haven't done that. So it hurts now, but you wanna know what? You wanna know what would hurt more? Is if I didn't just do it. Just lock in. That's what it is at the end of the day. Day in and day out, getting that hustle, that work in. Sometimes you gotta do things that you don't want to do. But either way, it's kind of funny though. I didn't even mean to go off on that little tangent, but it's funny because I looked forward to food now, but when I was on the cut, it's shit, I gotta eat now. I gotta eat again. It just felt like it was never ending. And now it's the cut. All I want to do is eat now. It's oh, yeah, man. But either way, fellas, I'm going to go in here and go blow this popsicle stand, fellas. I'll catch you guys.
Alrighty, fellas. So what we got coming in here is single arm poles, lawnmowers. You know what I mean? I don't really know, but I call them lawnmowers. Machine lawnmowers. 3 sets, 10 and 10. I'm not even going to lie. This lift here was pretty damn hard, but, just got done with the leg day today on Friday here, fellas, and, man, am I glad the week's over. That's all I'm going to say. But, with this, though, too, isolating it, focusing on building, the muscles individually on this, instead of, obviously those are both isolated handles, so you can do it together, but I like to focus on that one, especially on just getting that nice range of motion on that pull back, by doing it with single arm. Then we come over here, we got our bicep push down, 3 sets of 10, with the wide grip too. I don't know what you really call that bar. You can call it what you want. I like to call it the wide grip one. Then we come over here, we got our mag grip with the wide, doing some lat pull downs. Also too, I want to emphasize too, if you, I know it's hard to see with this angle, but I'm leaning back just a little bit, also with my butt all the way to the back of the seat, just to help get a nice pull back on my lats. It actually helps activate it quite a bit. Then we got our tricep. Did I say bicep push downs on that one? My bad. Anyways, tricep push downs here. Another 3 sets of 12 on this through the machine, which I'm not gonna lie, on the machine it definitely hits it a lot more different than doing it with the cable. This is the overhead lat pull down, with an angle. So I mean, what it really does is it gets a nice stretch across your body, and it is different from a lat pull down, where a lat overhead stretches from top to bottom, where when you pull down, you're pulling with the muscle. That's the way I see it. But 3 sets of 10 with this. I really think I said bicep push down earlier. I did not mean that. Either way, I'm not re-recording it. We're going with it raw, untouched. Then we got our motorcycle grip here with some pulls here, hitting our lats, but also hitting a lot of our back muscles that don't get touched by other machines with this. That's the beauty in this one, because I sit so high, it helps me actually get my lower back involved with the pulling motion too, along with my lats, obviously. Especially, I don't know if you see me sit back in the machine, hold on, sit back, and then pull. That was to help activate my lats. Then we come over here, we got our trap / shoulder press, just rounding out the top of my back. 3 sets of 10 here.
Alright, fellas, you already know what's going on. Pump check, let's get it. What a good lift for today, I'm not even gonna lie. Got active, kept the intensity high. And, what a beautiful pump check it will be. Yeah, I gotta get a haircut. We won't talk about that. Oh. Holy shit, looking like the Hulk. Damn. If I catch this new one. Oh shit, I think I gotta. Oh, still working on that one. Alright, fellas, aim some cardio. Let's get it.
Right here, got our cardio, 20 minutes. 4 miles minimum.
Alrighty, fellas. So that's a wrap on today's lift here. What a good one, man. It was fine dandy and quite the ass whooping. Like I said, I know my energy's like, now that I'm a month into this cut, I I know my energy's starting to deficiate a little bit, you know what I mean? But, you know, that is what it is, you know? You can't really complain about that. Just, you know, not having, you know, the fuel that you want. I'm not gonna lie, you know, not acting like it's the hardest, but because, you know, I do refeed a little bit on the weekends here, but, you know, it just don't cut it by, you know, later on in the week. Like, I know I'm getting deeper into the cut because, like, you know, before I wouldn't start really feeling it till like Thursday, maybe Friday, you know, but I'm starting to feel a little bit more. Oh, gotta give her that booze. Sorry. Anyways, I didn't want to gun it for some reason. I mean, I had to, but like at the same time, I want to get it up and go. Sorry. But you know, I know like I'm getting deeper into the cut because as I get deeper into the cut, freaking, you know, the days. My little refeeds, I don't really like go crazy on the weekends. It's not like I'm you know, just slam a bunch of calories and like basically lose all I had. No, it's just like, you know, replenish a little bit, you know, get right for the week, you know. But and it's not nothing crazy. It's maybe like, you know, a few extra, you know, 100 calories, maybe like not 100, but like maybe like 300 to 400. You know, it's nothing crazy. It's just enough to, you know, get that nice little jump start for the week, you know. But you know, what I'm getting at basically is I know as I'm getting deeper into the cut, you know, Monday and Tuesday are nice days this week, and then Wednesday I was feeling it today, and I know tomorrow is just gonna be a wreck on me, especially because, you know, it's legs and then on cardio and core and, oh, man, we got the works. You know, I act like I'm frustrated and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I know what's ahead of me, but at the same time, it motivates me just more. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Actually, I'll say what I was gonna say in a minute, but like, you know, back to what I was saying, you know, Monday and Tuesday were, you know, before Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday was kind of, you know, a good day. You know, it was still teeter-totting, but now I hit Wednesday and it was like, whew. You know, because realistically, I've cut out, you know, since I made that switch with my food, I've cut out 400 calories right there, and I'm about to, maybe in a few more weeks, give it maybe 2 more weeks, I'm about to make a flip and drop maybe another like 200 calories. But it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize until this cut, like body armors, I mean, they're not healthy by any means, don't get me wrong, but you know, for electrolytes, that's why I drink them, but they got, you know, 160 calories, where a Pedialyte, I can drink one of those, and that's like 10, you know, the packets I'm talking about that you put in the water, that's only 10 calories, the packet. So right there, I just saved 150 calories, because they're 160. I think Body Armor's off the top of my head, I'm not sure, they may be 120 maybe, but either way, I just saved 100 calories right there, and I drink 2 Body Armors a day. Right there is 200 calories saved. Like, if I'm trying to get legit with this, that's the way I gotta tighten up the loose strings, you know, you know, on the back end. But, you know, that will come. But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, you know, few deaths this week to start the week off too. You know, few people passed, you know, close to me at one point too, you know, so like that's why it hits a little bit. But, you know, it hasn't wrecked me because, you know, I gotta stay locked in, you know. I don't let everything get to me, fellas, you know. Yeah, it definitely gets to me, but at the same time, I know how to change my energy, you know what I mean, into positive things. So like, I don't let it, you know, tear me apart, you know what I mean. Like, it hurts, but at the same time, there's things, you know, there's things I have to do, and at the same time, you know, use those losses as positives, you know what I mean. Like, it's not a positive thing in any way, but like, you know what I mean, you got to turn bad energy into good energy, you know what I'm saying. And you know, you can't just let things tear you apart, because at the end of the day, if you're letting that shit, you know, just tear you and bring you down, you know, think about what those people want you to think, you know, be tore down on your knees, you know, just going down a bad path, you know what I mean. Like, you got to turn this shit into some brightness, you know what I mean. Like, go harder for the people that can. That's the way I see it, you know what I mean. And that's, you know, 2 right off the start of the week, Monday. 2 calls I did not want to hear, you know what I mean? and freaking, you know, it only hurts you too when, you know, one of those were your age, you know. So, you know, turn dark energy into good energy and do it for the people that can't, you know what I mean? That's the way I put it, you know. I didn't mean to turn this video into that, but I just wanted to say that. But on like a brighter note though, fellas, I'm gonna probably, now I don't know how it will end up video wise, but I'm gonna double upload for like 2 weeks, because I want my videos to be more closer to like when I'm actually doing this stuff. I'm not gonna lie, you guys are a few weeks behind me, but not too crazy. You know, but at the same time, I want to be more closer. You know what I mean? Like what I'm actually doing is like just happened. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like week off uploading. Like I gotta give myself a little break. You know, I'd be like life's lifing. You know what I mean? Just so like if I, you know, don't edit one video during the week, you know, I at least have time to do it on the weekend and then have it up for you next week. You know, like, so, you know, you may be a week behind me or two, but you know, it's not gonna be you know, 4 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever I'm at right now. I'm not even sure. I think it's 3 or 4 weeks. That's how far behind these videos are from me. You know, and that's just how I started out, because when I first started out this YouTube video stuff, you know, and I'm just talking business with you guys, you know, the back end of it, you know, you can't see me lift all the time and do all that good stuff, but like there is the other end to it, you know what I mean? Because like there's stuff I gotta do to help, you know, put these videos out and make them good for you guys, you know what I mean? I like watching them though too, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was like tracking my progress throughout the years and stuff. But you know, when I first started, I stacked a few videos, you know, and then just so I always have stuff ready to post, you know, just in case there's a week where I get sick or I break my wrist, or you know, just some weird reason I can't shoot a video. But honestly, there's no reason I can't. So, you know, with that being said, fellas, I am going to be, you know, double uploading at least for 2 weeks, just to get you guys back on track. You know, not back on track with me, but closer to where I'm at actually. So, you know, the videos here are going to be a little weird, you know, because I'm going to be like week 4 of a cut, but like I posted the same, you know, not even a week apart, the videos, but like just so everyone makes sense. Either way though, you know, cut's going good, guys. Again, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, energy's a little weak, but you know, there ain't nothing pre-workout can't do. And you know, if you know, I haven't done it much, but if I need like that little sugar boost, I will take a little tap off you know, some raw honey. You know, only 70 calories per teaspoon. So it's not like I'm just, you know, eating some junk food out here or something. You know, so if you have a sweet tooth, you know, raw honey is definitely the way. But, you know, even with that being said, you know, I've been trying to eat just clean in general and staying away from all that junk, sugary stuff, you know, like that. I'm not going to lie, those Nature Valley bars, they do got quite a bit of sugar in them, which I don't like, but at the same time, I'm not too worried, you know, that, in my opinion, I'm not too worried, because you do need some sources of sugar, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, sugar is not, you know, the best thing for you, you know, but I'm not like too crazy into that stuff, you know, like I'm more worried about my calories and stuff like that and making sure weight's getting lost. That's all I'm saying, you know. But either way, fellas, you know, just got to keep grinding it out. That's really what it is. And honestly, at the end of the day, you know, like I said, it sucks right now. But when I'm seeing the progress at hand, like, it just makes it all that much more worth it. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Right now, I got a lot of motivation, and I thank God for that. You know, it's not, I didn't get that motivation in the right ways, like I said. You know, but like, you take things to heart, and you do it for the people that can't, and you know, it fuels a fire that can't be taken out, you know. So, you know, it makes the cut personal is what I mean. You know what I mean? When you make things personal, that's the way I see the cut. Is even when I first started out, like, you know, I wasn't, you know, I locked in, but it wasn't like what it's just turned into now. Like, now that I'm into the cut deeper, like, it started to get personal already. But then, like I said, I do it for the people that can't. And now it just made it that much more personal. Like, it's gonna get crazy here. Like, I'm telling you, like, I already see it in the, you know, I don't know if the videos really do justice to what I'm seeing, because, you know, I don't got the tripod or sometimes the lighting to really see my physique the way you guys see it, I feel like. But man, I'm telling you, give it another month and it's going to be filthy. It is going to be filthy, because like this is week 4, and man, it is going to be, we're only 4 weeks in, guys. Like, that was crazy, and we're already seeing, you know, great progress. Like, 4 weeks is a long time, but at the same time, I ideally want to cut anywhere from 2 months to 3 months. So, you know, we are on pace, maybe a little bit ahead of pace. I'm not too sure, but regardless, it's all looking good and great and bright. But, you know, as always, fellers, you know, if you made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate that, you know. And, you know, as always, stay hustling, stay grinding, stay focused. Peace out. See you guys in the next one. What we got coming in here is some beef and rice for our meal of the day. And, you know, I'll catch you guys in the next one.